Do 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 do. Hey, how would you like to learn one of the greatest secrets of humanity? I guarantee you, your parents never taught you this. One of you might out there have been taught this by your parents. And you weren't taught this in high school or college, but you certainly should have. And if people actually took this lesson to heart, they'd be a lot better people and society would be much better overall. There would still be strife and whatnot, and I always laugh at notions of utopian idealism, which is completely ludicrous. If everybody in the world lived to be 100 years old and had no taxes and free health care and free houses and 2 kids and a beautiful wife or whatever orientation you are, whatever makes you happy, there'd still be enormous amounts of misery and suffering because someone would covet somebody else's wife or boyfriend or their yard or which direction the sun rises on their house. There's never going to be a utopian world because the ancient Greeks and the Pythagoreans understood that to be part of the antinomies. Also, too, someone else would covet the fact that someone else was young and they were old and they can barely walk around. So there's always going to be strife. So I always laugh at utopian idealism because it's a fool's errand and it's born out of a fool's mind. But this is about being a truth seeker and about belief, and also, too, constructive criticism. There's 2 types of criticism. There's actually more than 2. One's constructive and the other one's destructive. But let's first start off with what is a Pythagorean truth seeker. Yeah, I'm going to try to make this video very pithy and simplex. And if people would learn these facts, they'd be a lot better person, and they'd actually have a better understanding of how things work in the world, and they conduct themselves better in life. It's not understanding it, but it's actually taking it to heart. One is the fact that, and of course everybody lives in their own silly little belief systems. I believe, and I've always said that the words that follow after I believe are always ignorant words. Instead of an ignorant mind, I'm never interested in what anybody believes. I'm only interested in truth, facts, and logic and wisdom. But a truth seeker, and this is something to think about it, and of course if you think about it for 10 seconds or maybe more, depends on how long it'll take you to figure it out, you'll agree that this is 100% undeniable. If you're a truth seeker and you debate, and debate doesn't mean arguing with somebody. I'm a debater and been debating ancient Pali for decades and decades, and debating either topics of monistic metaphysics and like original Buddhism, for example. I've debated that for decades with people. But if you're a truth seeker, here's the 2 outcomes, and they're always positive for yourself. And this is if you follow with the person that you're debating or the entity or entities that you're debating. If you're proven right, then you know you're on the right path. Well, I knew I was on the right path to begin with. But everybody always thinks that they're on the right path or the right direction. Everybody does, no matter how wrong they are. If, however, you are proven wrong and someone else uses facts, logic, and wisdom to say, hey, I know that's what you think, feel, or believe, but let me go down a list of why you're wrong, and it depends on what you're debating, of course. If you're debating monistic metaphysics, you actually have to use logic, and the actual original source work. There actually has to be a foundation or a point of reference to debate. So it depends on what you're debating. So let me go down a list of why you're wrong, and I can understand a lot of people actually think, feel, or believe this, but here's why you're wrong. And I'm not criticizing you because you're not what you believe. Nobody is their belief system. That's the big secret, too, that nobody seems to have ever learned, and that's the reason why there's so much strife in the world, because everybody's so polarized. Here's the list of why you're wrong. Boom, 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 boom. Depends on what you're debating, too, what you use as the point of reference. If it's empirical facts, because descriptions are not explanations. People will ignorantly point me to various scientists. Well, they discovered this phenomena, and it's been reproduced by many people, so their explanation must be... That has no bearing upon anything. People that don't have a finer mind for seeing the discernment between things don't seem to realize that descriptions are not explanations. I could discover an entirely new phenomena. Yeah. And then I could write up what's going on. But because I discovered it, no matter how amazing it is, or invented it, no matter how amazing it is, my explanation is not connected with the discovery or the invention. The ancient Egyptians, who which undeniably, of course, invented countless amazing things and built things that we can't even fathom how they built them. Actually, I know how they built the pyramids. They had crazy, insane explanations for things. It was the god Thoth did this, and he thought, obviously that's not true. What they did and what they built are absolutely fascinating beyond belief. Some of them, many of them, we marvel at them and whatnot, but their explanations, for the nature of things, even though they were great astronomers and they were able to track the planets and whatnot, their explanations, of course, are nonsensical. Modern science is no different than this. People say, what about Einstein's discovery of light bending around the sun? Well, that's simplex dielectric acceleration. That does not mean that literally space and time are being curved. This is gravitational lensing. People talk about, well, the gravitational lensing is no distinct difference between that and electrostatic mutual attraction. The same reason why little foam balls, when you open up a box, there's a little foam beads in there, will stick to your hand. There's electrostatic cling. I mean, light is a coaxial circuit, and its core, its conductor of what it is, which is a coaxial circuit, will curve towards any mass. Such mutual mass acceleration, of course, there's not mass in the case of light, but the electrostatic acceleration between the two is mutual. But that does not imply, nor does it validate, the notion of curved space, because as Tesla famously said over and over again, railing against Einstein, that space has no properties. There's no notion of curved space-time. Time is only a measure. But anyway, I diverged too far off of that topic. But in the case of criticizing someone, in the case of the truth seeker, and this has to do with belief, once again, distilling the facts here. If you debate someone and you're right, then you've been validated that you're heading in the right. Because everybody thinks they're right, okay? It's a part of people's own little silly defense mechanism and their own little egoity nonsense that most people suffer. And some people really suffer from it. They have a terminal case of self-love. Those are the people that stare in the mirror in the morning and they go, oh man, you're hot. It amazes me that anybody does that, no matter how hot they are or not. So if you're on the right path, you'll be proven right in debating others. And debate is not an argument or a fight. Okay, I don't know if you know what the word debate is. When you use the word debate, most people today think you're fighting with somebody. That's not the case. But if you're proven wrong, you should be equally happy. You should actually be more happy. Just think about this for a second. You should be more happy to be proven wrong than to be proven right. Because if you're proven right, it's like, I'm heading in the right direction. If you're proven wrong by facts, logic, and wisdom, and it depends on what the point of reference for debating a topic is. In religion and metaphysics, it's sola scriptura, but also two facts, logic, and wisdom. It's like, wow, I was wrong, but this person who knows a lot more than me about this topic has now pointed me on the correct path. So now I have corrected myself because I am not my beliefs. Think about that one for a second. You are not your beliefs. I am not my beliefs. That's what everybody thinks. Oh, you attacked me. No, I didn't attack you. I never laid a finger on you. I've said you're wrong because boom, 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 boom. And this also, too, is a type of retroductionism. Someone that has wisdom and is interested in heading on the right path loves to be proven right, but they even more love to be proven wrong. It's like, wow, you're right. I didn't think of it that way. You're right. That makes a lot more sense. It's logical and it's wise. I was on the wrong path. So whether you're proven right or proven wrong, you will be put or remain still on the path to what is correct. And people don't understand that. You were not taught that in college or high school. You should have been taught that. It's the most fundamental thing that people should be taught, is that you are not your beliefs. Well, I believe this and you believe that. That's why I'm going to harm you. Reason for all the, you believe this and I believe that, and I hate you now. It's like, really? It's not funny, actually. But you are not your beliefs. And there's more than two types of criticism, as I said. Negative criticism could be factually negative, too. Someone calls me fat, bald, and tattooed. It's like, well, that's negative criticism, but it's also true. But life is short and full of misery. We don't need to heap negative criticism upon one another. Unless someone is incredibly unintelligent, and I'm far from that. I know I'm fat, bald, tattooed, you know. I know these things. I don't need that kind of criticism. But positive criticism. See, our world is so polarized and unintelligent these days that people can't even take positive criticism. It's like, you're doing it wrong because, here's the reasons why. Boom, 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 boom. People that can't take positive criticism, a lot of people have defense mechanisms. Some people are just not in the mood. You're like, life is miserable. I just don't need your criticism. It's like, what if it's positive? What if I'm trying to help you? And we all kind of suffer from that to greater or lesser degrees. But we should always be cognizant when someone is trying to be helpful and give us positive criticism. We'll say, well, your videos are unedited and they're very simplistic. Like, you're right. I take your positive criticism, which is accurate, but I'll also counter with the fact that, I work 3 jobs 7 days a week, and I can't sit there in front of the computer, editing the heck out of videos to make them look more polished and pretty. Because pretty, polished videos are never what I'm going after, because, I'm not going to polish this face. And the core of information is always what's important. People that are intelligent actually appreciate that. Unintelligent people love beautiful trash. The people that love beautiful trash, of which are so many, are the people that will point me to videos that are very, very well edited and highly beautiful visually, and yet are complete and utter trash. This is the reason why trash has to scream. Like when it comes to products, the junkiest stuff that you would never buy on a bad day. This is the reason why trash has to scream itself out. When great stuff like Lamborghinis and Rolexes, they don't have to advertise because the stuff speaks for itself. Doesn't need any advertising. But way too many people are so adverse to I think it's people are stressed out and taxed to death and worried and, trying to make ends meet that they can't even take positive criticism anymore. We should try to create helpful positive criticism. It's like, when you're drinking and stuff like that, it's dangerous for you and it impairs your mind. And, when people give me positive criticism, they're like, you shouldn't be drinking that diet soda, which I don't really drink it that often. But like, you're right. I take that positive criticism and I validate it and I agree with you. But we all have our own little vices. I mean, that's my vice. I don't drink or smoke or do any illegal substances, but I mean, have a unhealthy diet soda every once in a while. I'm guilty of it. But if people would understand that they are not their beliefs, everybody holds their beliefs up as, this is me, this is what I believe. When you attack my beliefs, you're attacking me. And a wise person will say, no, these are your beliefs, foolish person, and this is you. When someone attacks nonsense that you espouse or believe, they are not attacking you, they're attacking nonsense. Because the nonsense, i.e. beliefs, are not you. Yeah? Why didn't anybody teach you, or they never taught me that growing up in high school or college was a waste, of course. They never taught me or you any of that important stuff. You are not your beliefs, so stop being defensive about what you believe in, because it is not you. Yeah, it's not you. If the world would learn that, it would still be a place of hell and strife, but it would be many degrees less miserable. People like, oh, you and your people believe this, and I'm going to take care of you. Do horrible things, which they do. I mean, really, really horrible things. Stuff that I can't even talk about horrible. Oh, you believe this, I don't care if this harms you, you or your beliefs, and I don't like what you believe, and so I'm going to attack you. Well, that's not good. Life is short and full of suffering, death and taxes and misery. Making it more miserable makes the whole world more miserable. That's not utopian idealism. That's just a factual statement born out of wisdom and common sense, which nobody has anymore. I wish humanity would learn that, but I think it might be too late for them. Humanity will never learn that lesson unless they become more evolved intellectually. You have to be more intellectually involved. Because without that, humanity will always be in the lowest pits of suffering. Humanity loves to think they're so much smarter because we have iMacs and iPhones and stuff, but humanity is Ultimately, at its fundamental level, no more evolved than the idiot cavemen, wearing bearskin underwear and clubbing each other over the heads. You're just not. You're absolutely not any more evolved. You're nothing other than a caveman wearing a nylon shirt. I'm wearing a nylon shirt. Caveman wearing a nylon shirt and watching garbage on your iPhone and your iMac. You're just, you're not. Think you are, but you're not. I'm better than those people. Those were savages living in caves. Well, those savages understood nature a whole lot better than you do. Remember those savages back about 6,000 years ago, a la ancient Egypt and Greece, that wrote stuff so profound that if you try to read a translation of it, it will bend and twist your mind to the point that it just nearly... I can't read this. I tell people like to read De Divina Proportione or Theoria Philosophiae Naturalis, Theory of Natural Philosophy, or De Periphysian, and they report back to me, oh my god, I couldn't read a page of it. It bent my mind. It's too complicated. Well, that complicated stuff was written by people who lived so long ago that you consider them savages. But they were a lot more intelligent. Actually, they're a lot more wise. Human beings today are more intelligent, not the empirical facts, but they have far, far less wisdom or gnosis. The most evil people in society always have been this, not my opinion, a fact. People that are incredibly intelligent and yet have no wisdom, which is by definition a fool. Always the case. Evil people are people that have little to no wisdom and yet are incredibly intelligent. Those are always, not my opinion, fact, the most evil people in society all throughout history. Always. Anyway, I hope you like this video. And I wish you a good day. As they say in Russia, увидимся. Увидимся, товарищ. They don't say товарищ anymore, but whatever. Пока и до свидания. Отличный человек. Sorry, that was Russian.